What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Big Show Sports Podcast with my co-host Kelson Jones. Again, he will be back real soon, but I hope everyone is having a great day and a great night. Didn't work too hard, but let's dive into some college news first. I want to talk about the Clemson Tigers star quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Should he stay or should he go? That is a decision that that he will make. But I think that with the mess that's going on in New York, the Jets, I think Trevor Lawrence should just stay in school because you see a lot of players get injured and getting hurt. So I think that he should stay in school, finish it, and hopefully he can go to somebody else because, we don't know if he'll be the savior for the New York Jets. We don't know that. They have a quarterback in Sam Darnold. We know that he sees ghosts sometimes. We see that. We know. But don't throw in the towel just because Trevor Lawrence is playing. Maybe his last year. But I think he should stay in school and try to at least get one more championship because I think Clemson's going to go. I really do. But again, Clemson really hadn't played anybody, but they're still the Clemson Tigers. So, but back to Trevor Lawrence, I think he should stay in school for his last year because I hate to see players that is so gifted and so talented in that. But if he chooses to, forego his last year and go for the Jets, more power to him. But at times the money's there. So, it'll be up to him, at the end of the day. But I believe, and I'm not the only one that's saying that he should stay in school because you don't want to see these players' talent get wasted. And I can tell you a few quarterbacks right now, their talent is being wasted, but we don't have time to get into all that. But we're going to talk more about college football. I know we have a lot of games coming up this weekend. I want to talk about the Pac-10 before I talk about the SEC. The Pac-10 right now, Ohio State and Penn State will play this weekend. That will be a great game. I don't think Penn State's going to win, even though that was my team to take that division. The Big Ten. I really thought Penn State was going to show me something, but they laid a goose egg in their first game. Ohio State, let me tell you something. Ohio State is dangerous. And I asked this a few days ago. I said, what team in the Big Ten can challenge the Clemson, LSU, maybe even Georgia? And a lot of people said Ohio State can. If the championship started right now, let's say Clemson and Alabama right now, who would have won that game? But I'm looking at Ohio State. When I see Ohio State play, man, they look real good. They look real dangerous. Who can beat them right now? Could Clemson beat them? Could Alabama beat them? Let me tell you, being an Alabama fan, a diehard fan, let me tell you, I don't think that we have the defense to play with Ohio State. We don't have that. Our defense is nowhere to be found. But we have a good run defense. You can't really run the ball against Alabama, but you can pass the ball. That's been the problem for the last few years. You can pass the ball on Bama all day long. But Nick Saban and the rest of the coaches, they have to find a way to stop that because we're giving up way too many yards. And the way these teams are throwing the ball now, you gotta get your cornerbacks and your safeties in position to start taking these balls or scripting these balls because it's not making no sense that we give up so many points, to these teams. So that has to be fixed if we're going to be a contender, if we're going to be that team, we have to get a better defense, because you hate to see a team so talented like that giving up so many yards. But I want to speak on our quarterback that we have. We have a very good quarterback. Should we throw his name in the Heisman Trophy race? Yeah. I think we should. I really think we should because who else is going in for the Heisman. I know Justin Fields' name is up there. Of course, Trevor Lawrence, but he is the favorite to win the Heisman. I have Oklahoma's quarterback, on my list, but they done lost so many games and lost their way. But that's the only guys that I could think of to put them in the Heisman Trophy. But I'm gonna give you some more college news. Penn State, they lost their running back Kane. He's out for the year with a leg injury. You hate to hear these injuries, in these sports, happening to these young men. I hate to hear that. And the Badgers, their quarterback is out for 3 weeks, with a virus. They're not saying what kind of virus it is, but they just saying a virus. So we're going to get to the games that's coming up this weekend. But my game of the week is Ohio State and Penn State. That is my game of the week right there. But let's get you to the games that's going on Friday. Minnesota, they're playing Maryland. That should be a good game. And that's really the only game that I see is worth watching. But Saturday, Clemson, they're gonna play BC, Boston College. That's gonna be a beatdown. I think Trevor Lawrence is gonna show everybody why that he deserves to be the number one guy and the Heisman front runner. And Georgia, they're playing Kentucky. Kentucky, they're not that team that we expected them to be. I really had high hopes for Kentucky. Georgia, yes, they got the best defense in the nation. Yes, they do. But it didn't show against Alabama, but they do. The stats is there. The numbers don't lie. Georgia has a good defense, but I think that it could be a trap game for Georgia. I think Georgia, they're not going to overlook Kentucky because it's SEC versus SEC. Man, they beat up each other every weekend. It happens every weekend with those two. And Cincinnati, they're playing Memphis and Michigan State and the Michigan Wolverines. I got Michigan winning this game. I know Michigan, nobody really has been talking about Michigan at all. Michigan is still a powerhouse school. They're a top 10 school in my eyes. I remember growing up, I had a Michigan Wolverines starter jacket. I know, I'm kind of old, bring the starter jackets, but I had that starter jacket and I always said, man, I like Michigan. And I never had anything bad to say about Michigan, only when we play Ohio State. Boy, when they play Ohio State, it's just like we don't show up to play. But I like Michigan in this game. Michigan, I want them to go undefeated, but that's not going to happen. I want to see them do good. I want to see them get far in the Big Ten, but with them coming in so late in the football season, how many teams will get into the championship this year in the Big Ten? So that's going to be the problem for me. But I know for sure they're going to try to get Ohio State in. That's going to be a fact. I know they're going to try to get Ohio State in. And Kansas State versus West Virginia, you have Iowa State versus the Kansas Jayhawks. Let me tell you something. I want to speak on the Kansas Jayhawks for a few minutes while I have enough time. The Jayhawks, that is a complete mess also. But they play their hearts out, the Jayhawks. They play real well. They don't give up. They keep fighting. They keep trying to get that win. But they got a good coach in Les Miles, and the talent is there. But the problem is they can't win a game. They can't win a game. Kansas is a basketball school, and it's been proven and proven and proven time after time. Kansas is a basketball school. But like I said, these guys in Kansas, they're not giving up. They're playing hard every Saturday, and I like it, and I respect those guys a whole lot for giving it their all and leaving it on the field. And let's go to some more games that's going on Saturday, more interesting games. Notre Dame and Georgia Tech. That could be a trap game, because let me tell you about these trap games. These trap games are the games that people don't pay attention to. Like this game, Notre Dame and Georgia Tech. Yeah, Georgia Tech, they may be not as good as they once was, but they can play spoiler. They can knock you out of contention. So you don't take these teams lightly at all. Let's go on to Wisconsin and Nebraska. Wisconsin, they're number 9 in the nation. Like I said again, we're going to have some upsets, and I'm going to tell y'all the upsets in a few minutes. We're going to have some, and I think this will be one right here. Wisconsin and Nebraska, that will be an upset, I do believe, because I think Wisconsin will probably overlook Nebraska. You can't take these teams that's not ranked. You can't take them for granted. You have to play these teams very hard. It's going to be a close game, but I do believe it will be an upset. Indiana, they're playing Rutgers. They beat my Penn State Nittany Lions. I was crying my eyes out in that game because, like I said, I really had Penn State going somewhere. They hurt me to the core. And the game that I have circled is the LSU Tigers and the Auburn Tigers. I'm going to tell you this. LSU, they need to start the man that played the game last Saturday, because I think he'll give LSU the best chance to win and to get somewhere far this year. I understand that Brandon, he was a starting quarterback. I think that, LSU should go the other route because the man played real well. And I realized and understand, it was against South Carolina. I didn't have no hopes for South Carolina anyway coming to the season. But playing against Auburn is not a joke. It's not a game. It's tough. It's going to be man versus beast out there. Those guys play hard in Auburn. So for LSU. So this is going to be the game here to where who will give you the best chance to win. And I'm going to tell you this. If you put pressure on Bo Nix, he's gonna be all over the field. Just put pressure on him, and I know LSU will. They're gonna put pressure on him, and he's gonna be on his back a lot. I really do believe so. You put pressure on him, Bo Nix gonna throw at least 3 interceptions or 4. He has shown you in the past that he will throw an interception. He cannot handle pressure. And who's gonna win that game? In a nail biter, I hate to say it, LSU's gonna win that game. It's gonna be close. It's not gonna be a blowout. It's not gonna be a beat down. So don't forget, LSU, y'all still got Florida to deal with. Y'all got my Tide to deal with. So, y'all not out of the closet yet. Y'all playing Auburn. If you overlook Auburn, Auburn's gonna beat you if you overlook them. But LSU, they do got that good defense. I still think they got a good defense. They're young. I understand. I'm not making excuses for them like other people is. But LSU, if they're going to get to where they need to go, they need to win games. They need to win the games that count. And when they play Alabama, that's going to be a great game too. Let's go to Texas and Oklahoma State. The Texas Longhorns, they fell off. I had high hopes for them also. I thought Texas was going to at least run the table, and even Oklahoma, but both teams are I believe, they're finished. So who's going to step up in that division in the Big 12? Man, I don't know. It's going to have to be somebody. But this game here is going to be a thorn fest. And if you like offense, watch this game. Oklahoma State, they're great. They're a real great team. But I tell you what, Texas got to find a way to get their feet back under them before it gets too bad. But it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be in the high 40s. Oklahoma State's going to win that game. And Ole Miss and Vanderbilt, the Lane Kiffin Express is not looking too good. It's not looking too good for Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. I know this is his first year in Ole Miss, but he's going to find a way to get his guys to win this game. Ole Miss is not a bad team. They have a great offense. Their offense is powerful. We've seen that. So we've seen that, man. Ole Miss, I'm pushing for him, to get better. But like I said, this is his first go around with them with the Lane Kiffin Express. So don't count out Ole Miss just yet. Don't count them out yet. Don't give up on my boys yet. And Mississippi State and Alabama. Let me tell you something. My Tide. Like I said before. Defense. We got a good run defense, but that secondary is tore up. We got to find a way to get it before we go and play LSU, because LSU, they can throw the ball. That's what they do. So we have to find a way to, get that secondary better, because Mississippi State they got a good quarterback. I know they fell off just a little bit. But Alabama is going to have to get that secondary intact because, like I said before, they're giving up way too many points. It's just way too many points. When you give up the points Alabama is giving up, you can beat them. But the only thing is keeping us in games, to be honest, is our offense. We lost Whittle for the year, but we got guys that can step up, in spots. We don't have to worry about that. But of course we're going to win. We're going to win that game. It's going to be high scoring. I think we're going to get it together. We're going to win that game. And the game of the week for me, the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Penn State Nittany Lions. Let me tell you, I said it before, this game, it could get nasty. It could get out of control. But if Penn State can focus, don't worry about the game that you lost against Indiana. That's old. That's done. But if they can find a way to beat Ohio State, okay, we don't have to see them. But I think we're going to wind up seeing them anyway because Ohio State is not going to lose this game. And to see Penn State, lay the goose egg. Well, they didn't get beat by much, but it doesn't matter. A loss is a loss. You got to take that L and you got to wear it real well. Penn State is going to have to show everybody that they are still – they still is a great team. You got to show everybody that, and they're going to show the nation against Ohio State. But Justin Fields, let me tell you something. If you don't, and I'm going to say it again, if you don't get bodies on Justin Fields, he sits in that pocket, he will destroy you. And I think if you don't have a defense, he will destroy you even worse because he has a great arm. But here's the thing with Ohio State. They have a lot of great quarterbacks come from there, but they don't really do too good in the NFL. And I think all that will change with Justin Fields because Justin Fields, he's good. But he's no Trevor Lawrence. But if you had to pick a quarterback, okay, to lead your college team, who would you pick? Trevor Lawrence, or would you pick Justin Fields? They're both great and phenomenal quarterbacks, but who would you pick? With the game on the line, who would you get? The rest of these games, like Oklahoma and Texas Tech, I'm not going to overlook that game, but let me tell you something. Texas Tech is going to beat them. And Oklahoma's going to fall out the rankings altogether, because Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, there is something's going on that I don't like. And we need to find out what's going on with Oklahoma. Oklahoma was a powerhouse, and it still is, but they got to find a way to get their feet up under them too. And my Tennessee Vols that I had high hopes for, they're off this week. But this happens every year with them. Every year we go through with Tennessee. They're so talented and they're so good, but they can't find a way to keep these victories. You have to find a way to win games. If you can't win games, what you going to do about it? You got to find a way to keep these games and keep winning. College football so far has been great. It really has. It's been good. I've been enjoying college football, and I hope that it can continue to get better. But I want to speak on something that I saw last night when I got off my podcast last night with the Jackson State. People have to understand it had nothing to do with Deion Sanders. That happened way before he got there. People have to understand that happened way before he even got to Jackson State. And, he just came in and now he has to deal with that. So that wasn't on him. I've seen a lot of people try to make it a racial issue, which you really can't because it has nothing to do with race. It's just when things happen and it comes to the forefront, it's going to show itself. And that's what it did, so there's no need for all the other nonsense that's going on behind it. It just happened. It happens to everybody, not just Jackson State It happened to Alabama a few years ago. It happened to LSU. It happened to Georgia. It happened to all the good colleges. But, to see Deion Sanders at Jackson State, I will say this, man, it's going to open the door for a lot of kids. A lot of kids are going to want to go to Jackson State and play for Deion Sanders, a legendary cornerback. I know if I was a kid, I know if I was 17 years old, 18 years old, and I got an opportunity to play and Deion Sanders be the coach, and I'm going with Deion Sanders. He's a legend. You don't sit it off a man of his caliber going to Jackson State. But I want to switch it up right quick, and I want to talk about one of my friends. He wanted me to talk about wrestling. I know some people, they don't like it. Oh, it's fake. It's this, it's that. But listen, it doesn't matter. I'm going to talk about it anyway. I grew up on wrestling. I watched it when Stone Cold and The Rock and guys like that, Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen, The Undertaker, Versus Kane, stuff like that. Yes, I like it, but I hadn't watched it in a long, long, long time. Do I know what's going on? Just a little bit. So I'm going to speak on it. Randy Orton. I know a lot of people love him some Randy Orton. Will he pass up Ric Flair in championships? I think he will. Randy Orton, he's been around for a while, and I really thought Randy Orton was going to get washed out and he'd be finished. But you know what? He is one of the great, wrestlers. I do have a list on that, a top 20 list on that wrestling stuff. So it's going to be something that it excites me, to talk about, because my favorite wrestler of all time, and I know a lot of people, they like wrestling, but they're not going to admit it. The first thing they're going to say, oh, it's fake. But you know what? You watch it. You watch it like I used to watch it. The best rivalry wrestling to me, I'd have to say, was Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon. I think that was one of the greatest rivalries I've ever seen in wrestling. It seemed to me, I thought it was so real. But to be honest, I really thought that WCW was better. But people argue down and say, no, it wasn't. But wrestling was fun. We had D-Generation X, the Hardy Boys, NWO Red and Black. Who was the best, red or black or white and black? People argue all day long about that. And I hear it every day. Who was better, Ric Flair, Goldberg, Kevin Nash. What if Kevin Nash would have beat Goldberg? Hollywood Hogan and The Rock, dream matches that I don't think none of us would ever get a chance to see. The Macho Man Randy Savages, guys like that, rest his soul. But that was something that I want to just speak on a little bit. Some people, they are shy away from that. Oh, I don't want to talk about wrestling. I want to just talk about straight football, basketball. Sometimes you got to switch it up. Sometimes you got to talk about baseball, talk about golf. It's just not about football and basketball. You got to switch it up and reach a different audience. You just can't have the same thing. So what I'm going to do in the next few weeks, next few days, I'm going to bring golf, NASCAR, tennis, every major sport and touch on it, because I see a lot of people, they're not open. You want to be open a little bit. You want to, spread it. So that's what I'm going to spread it a little bit, like golf. I like golf. I think Tiger Woods is one of the greatest golfers, but some people argue you down with that. But I want to touch on this subject here. In college football, who has the cooler helmets? I know some people, my co-host Kelston, he'll be here tomorrow. He says Miami has the best. I gotta go with Oregon. Oregon has some cool helmets, man. They really do. And I also want to say go Dodgers, and I hope the Dodgers can win the series. I was speaking on that later on today on the ASAP network today. If you want to win, and you don't want to face a game 7, like I was saying, you gotta bring the power. You got to bring the pain. If you want to win and get that championship, all hands on deck. You put your best man on the mound. You put your best man up to bat. You don't, excuse me, you don't put your worst player out. You put your best players out there. You want to win a series, then you know what you got to do, what you have to do to win a series. You know, you can't go out there with your wink. You got to go out there with your winning team. So I hope the Dodgers listen to that, and I wish they will. You know, you want to win that championship. I know they hadn't won the championship, I think, since 85, either 85 or 86. It's one of those. I want to speak on, before I go, I want to speak on Dez Bryant going to the practice squad of the Baltimore Ravens. Let me tell you, you know, it's a good opportunity for him, I believe. You know, Dez Bryant, but I'm not sold on him playing with Baltimore. I know some people, they may think, you know, I'm crazy. I don't know what I'm talking about. But listen, it's like when Antonio Brown. These guys are bad in the locker room. They really are. These guys are bad in the locker room. But you've been out of the game for a little while. So you have a point to prove. Can you still play? So real soon, we're going to see he's on the practice squad, but you know that can all change. Will he show us what he once was? Will he show us that? Or will we see the same bad attitudes with these guys? My thing is, who will be out of the job first? Antonio Brown or Dez Bryant? Because somebody will be out of a job. Do you think it's crazy that Earl Thomas didn't get a job yet? He's still looking. So I think out of them two guys, Dez Bryant and Antonio Brown, somebody's going to lose their cool because they're not getting the ball as much. So somebody is going to act a fool, and they're going to be out of a job. You can't do that. You just can't come in and demand, hey, I'm the number one receiver in Tampa Bay. No, you're not. No, you're not. That's Mike Evans. You got Gronk there. Those guys are there before you. So we're going to see real soon. I'm telling you, something is going to happen between them two guys, and somebody is not going to have a job. Oh, yeah, I know they're talented. I know that. I'm not saying that they're not talented. What I'm saying is this. I said yesterday, and I'm going to keep saying, when you get players of these calibers and these attitudes, okay, you got to approach them with caution. You have to. You just can't, I'm going to get Dez Bryant. And I see somebody ask me who is the greatest wrestler in my opinion. In my opinion, let me tell you, in my opinion, there's a lot of them. You know, I could go with Kirk Hennig. Well, the great late Kirk Hennig. I could go with Ric Flair. I could go with The Rock. I could go with John Cena. Man, the list can go on and on and on. But I'm going to tell you, the greatest wrestler, in my opinion, you know, he was my favorite wrestler. I every time he come out, man, I would do it. You know, his finger. He had the uniforms was great and shiny and beautiful. The greatest wrestler, in my opinion, I'm going to tell you, to me, was the Macho Man Randy Savage. You know, the typical person will say this: Hollywood Hulk Hogan. The typical person will say Hulk Hogan. Some will say Ric Flair. I love Ric Flair. Matter of fact, Ric Flair was the man. Ric Flair was the man. You know, he was the limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun. That's what he was. He was great. I was gonna say Rick Steiner, but I'd been lying to you if I said Rick Steiner. But he was good too. But Macho Man Randy Savage, he was great, man. He was great. You know, everything that he did in the ring was awesome. You know, but even with his attire that he wore, him and Ric Flair was on neck to neck. You know, with their uniform, their attire. But he is the greatest in my opinion, and I think that he should have been in Hulk Hogan's spot. Yeah, he should have been in Hogan's spot. You know, one of the greatest wrestlers in my opinion, and that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Matter of fact, I'm going to bring out my 20 greatest wrestlers in my opinion tomorrow, and Kelston, my co-host, I know he's going to have him a list tomorrow too, or he may not have it. I don't know, but I know one thing: I have my list, and we're going to go over it one by one tomorrow. You know, a lot of these kids, man, they don't know Macho Man Randy Savage. They don't know the Ric Flairs. They don't know the Triple H's, the Shawn Michaels, the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, one of the greatest tag teams in wrestling history. If them young people don't know about the Road Warriors, you need to look them up on YouTube and find out who was the Road Warriors. They're both gone from this world. They both left us, but they were the greatest tag team in wrestling history. If you tell me DX was, okay, you know, we can argue that. You know, it's a lot of them. I'm also going to, you know, talk about boxing, you know, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, you know, Smoking Joe Frazier, guys like that. That's when boxing, matter of fact, we're talking about it right now, just a little bit. That's when boxing was fun to watch. I wasn't alive then, but, you know, you see those matches on YouTube and you say, man, no, Mike Tyson really punched like a freight train. When he hits you, he'd hit you. He hit somebody so hard one time, I felt it. Yeah, I felt it. So if we were to go back, and I want to ask this, in his prime, Mike Tyson in his prime, and Roy Jones Jr. in his prime, who would win? Who would win? They're in their prime. Who would win? You know Mike Tyson will win. Y'all know that. Y'all know Mike Tyson will win. But you know what? Some of you there argue that. They tell you no, not Mike Tyson. You know, what would be a dream boxing match? Or a dream wrestling match? You know, a dream basketball matchup. You know, the great late Kobe Bryant versus LeBron James, 1-on-1. Michael Jordan versus Kobe Bryant, 1-on-1. You know, Mike Tyson. You know, he is. Mike Tyson is the greatest, to me, pound for pound boxer. I really believe he is. But we can argue this all day long. I'm long over my time. I said I was only going to be on for a few minutes. But that's what sports do to you. Sports will have you speaking for at least 2 hours or 3 hours if you don't watch it. And no, Carson Wentz is not a bust. I heard somebody ask that question on a sports show. Is Carson Wentz a bust? No, sir. No. No, you're disrespectful. No, he's not. He's not a bust. Why would you say he's a bust? I would want to know that. Yeah, he's been injured. The man got taken out. And he hadn't been the same ever since. So I'm not going to down him at all. I'm not. I can't do it. But the Eagles, they got to get it together. They have to get it together. Before I go, we're going to speak on a Thursday night matchup. But Goldberg versus The Rock was good. But I tell you, one was even better. In WrestleMania, I think it was Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. That was a good match. That was a real good match. But I wonder, for the Undertaker's last match, Who would want to see him fight Randy Orton again? I would love to see that. Randy Orton and the Dead Man. Or bring back Stone Cold Steve Austin. That would be something great to see too. But I'm not gonna hold y'all long. I just wanted to get up here and get some college about the way. But I want to speak on Thursday Night Football. Before we get to the Undertaker and Kane, Thursday Night Football. Let me tell you something. I'm not gonna watch it, but I'm gonna be on the ASAP network on the pregame, and we're gonna talk about it because if I'm gonna tell you right now, if Christian McCaffrey, if he comes back, they're gonna win because I'm not picking Atlanta ever again. They are embarrassing. I'm not gonna pick them ever again. So I'm going right now and I'm going to say the Carolina Panthers. They're going to beat them. And Atlanta is going to be in a very bad place. Very bad. Because they cannot do anything. They keep blowing leads. And Ty Gurley, he's falling at the 1 yard line. So what do you think of that? When I saw Ty Gurley do that, I said, what is he doing? What is he doing? He should have been fired. He should have been gone. He's going to fall at the 1 yard line. You don't know where you're at? It's not good. Not a good look at all. And the Dallas Cowboys. You can't let your quarterback get knocked out like that. And nobody picked him up. Andy Dalton got knocked out. Looked like his head got knocked off. Well, what did the offensive players do? Nothing. You got to pick up for your quarterback. You don't do that, you don't deserve to play. You're getting paid all that money, and you watch your quarterback get his head knocked off, and nobody done nothing. I tell you what, let that be Kyle Murray. Let that be Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. Can't say Big Ben. He's hard to knock down. Let's just say those guys. Let me tell you something, man. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight. Because you're not going to hit my quarterback like that. If you don't want to play, I said it again, and I'm going to keep saying it. If you don't want to play, you don't show up. Matter of fact, I think the Dallas Cowboys are having tryouts right now for a new offensive lineman. They need it. They need it. You can't allow your quarterback to get hurt like that. You just can't. So, who Dallas should go get? Well, quite frankly, there's only one man. There's only one man that I think they should get. Jerry Jones, you pull that trigger. If Jerry Jones can pull that trigger and get this man, I don't care if people get mad at me. I don't really care. Let me tell you. You go get Colin Kaepernick. Yeah, go get him. He'll love to play for you. I think he did a great job. Who else you gonna get? Who else you gonna get? Go get him. Try him out. And watch and watch what he do for you. He'll win some games. I guarantee you, listen, he'll make CeeDee Lamb a star. Yes. Or Warren Cooper's a radio star. But you'll have another star. And Undertaker and Kane, I'm going to this question. I gotta go back to it. Undertaker and Kane, great rivalry. Great rivalry. Great. I remember the first match with them two guys. It was a great match. It was like a monster versus another monster. But what was better, the evil Undertaker or the bad Undertaker, the riding motorcycle Undertaker, came out of that motorcycle. Remember when Undertaker almost killed who was that? Mankind? Everybody thought Mankind was dead. That was fun. That was when wrestling was wrestling. And now I don't know what we have in wrestling right now. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's more predictable now than when it once was. Man, it was awesome, man. When the fans was throwing food in the ring and throwing water on the wrestlers. Man, that was when the wrestling was wrestling, man. That's when wrestling was wrestling. But now, what wrestler death shocked the world? I'll tell you. Eddie Guerrero. His to me was more shocking than I think than most. I'm not gonna say Chris Benoit because Chris Benoit he done something that's unthinkable, But Chris Benoit, he was crazy. That was uncalled for. But Eddie Guerrero, his was more shocking than anybody that I could think of. But that's gonna be it for right now. I'm way over my time. But I just want to thank everybody for listening to the Big Show Sports Podcast. And don't forget my friend, my co-host, he will be back tomorrow. I know I said that today and yesterday, but things happened. Things came up. You know how life is. So he will be back tomorrow, and we're going to bring it to you again. I know some people, they say, hey, man, you do that podcast, keep doing it. Keep doing it. The people will come. You build it, they will come. I know sometimes, people look at the numbers. Oh, man, people are not looking at my podcast. They're not doing this. Don't worry about what they're doing. Don't worry about what they're doing. Worry about what you're doing. Don't focus on nobody else. Focus on you and your podcast. And don't worry about what the next 300 people is doing. Because you're not the only one doing it. So it's going to come. Like I said, you build it, it's going to come. So in that order, I want to thank everybody for listening to the Big Shot Sports Podcast and Roll Tide Roll. And we're ready for LSU. So, but the question is LSU ready for us? I don't think they are. Because they won't know what hit them. I don't know where the game's going to be. I got to look at the schedule. I've been slacking. So, wherever it's at, we're going to show up. We're going to show out. And I also want to say this, too. I haven't been talking about the Saints in a long time. Man, look. They're not going nowhere. First round exit. Out the playoffs. That's where they're going to go. First round exit. And I think that Atlanta, before I go, they need to fire everybody. The owner needs to fire himself. Okay. Just fire everybody. Start all over again. Same in Dallas. Start all over. Jets, start over. Cincinnati, don't start over because you got Joe Burrow. Get them some help on the offensive line. Get them some help. Get them some help. And the Cleveland Browns, my dear Browns, next man up. No excuse. Next man up. Chicago Bears need a new quarterback. Foles ain't the answer. Don't get Cam Newton. Because he's going to be gone. Yes, he will be gone. Because something's all over the field. And they lost really bad. Let me tell you, they lost real bad to the 49ers. When I saw that score, I didn't get a chance to watch the game, but I saw the score. I thought it was fake. Because when Tom Brady was there, it didn't go down like that. It didn't. And if you try to argue me down and say, oh, they got beat like that, when? I don't think I've seen New England get beat like that. If I did, tell me, and I'm wrong. So who needs who now? Look like Brady having a better time than Belichick. So that goes to show you. It goes to show you. The coach draws up the plays, but the players execute it. So Brady got you to the promised land. You drew up the plays. But the quarterbacks are the ones under center. They got you that ring. Did they or did they not? The players get you the ring. The coaches coach. But the players on the field and the court. But Tom Brady is the GOAT. He's the GOAT. Who's next in line? You know his name. You know his name. The next GOAT. It's not Patrick Mahomes. It's Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson. That man should have had 3 MVPs by now. How many he got? 0. I'm not talking about Big Ben Roethlisberger. I'm not talking about the other guys. I'm talking about Russell Wilson. He should at least have 3 MVPs. You watch my co-host get back. We're going to speak on this again. And I know he's ready. But that's it. I want to thank everybody listening to Big Shaw Sports Podcast with Kelson Jones. And one more thing, if y'all want a shirt, don't be hesitant to let us know. You can let me know on my page. I got right now over 200, likes on my page, which is that's not nothing, but to me that means a lot. That means people, they're listening, they're looking, so if you want something, feel free to comment, let me know, or let my co-host know. Y'all know Kelson Jones around here in Oakdale. He's a great coach. He coaches the kids and stuff. So that's why y'all don't see him a lot. But that's a good thing there. You gotta, I'm a brag on him a little bit. You gotta, a man like that helping these kids to get off the streets, doing a good thing. It's a lot of guys doing it. I don't know if they want to mention their names, but it's a good thing to see that. You see these guys helping these kids and want nothing for them. They want nothing but the best for these kids. So it's a good thing that they're doing this, here in Oakdale. That's why y'all don't see Kelson a lot, because he does his coaching thing, and I knew that when I asked him to come aboard. But man, if y'all need anything, I will be on the ASAP network Thursday for the Thursday night football pregame. But tune in to them guys also. They're doing a great thing also, and I think they're on, they're live too. So check those guys out too, and on ASAP, network. Those guys are awesome. Great group of guys. And I'm gonna say this too, when my dad passed, they got together, all the guys, and they brought my family some flowers, which they didn't have to do that, but they did. So, and I also want to thank the class of 2000 for doing the same thing, so that goes to show you, respect goes all over the place. So if y'all need a shirt, want a shirt, let you see it, let me know, and I will get, with Miss Tiffany to get us some shirts. And I know pretty soon I'm going to have some guests coming on the show real soon, and I'm going to go ahead and name you a few guesses. Let me get some water before we go, and I'm going to tell you, 2 guesses for right now. We're going to have Coach Brent McCorn. He's going to be on real soon. I have to check with him, make sure he got it. He's ready to rock and roll. And we will also have former football star player Curtis Buckley. He played for the 49ers and the New York Giants and the Washington Redskins when they was the Washington Redskins. He will be on also. So that's going to be later on. So I have to get with him, and we can rock and roll and get things moving the way that it needs to get moving. But keep liking the pages, man. Keep liking them. Not just my page, but my guys at ASAP Network, like their pages too, like their stuff. That's the only way you're going to make it, man, if you support each other. If you don't support each other, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to go nowhere. It's going to stay in the same exact spot. If you want to go from point A to point B, you got to find a way to make it. If you just can't go from A to C. You do that, you're going to find out it's not what you expect it to be. But check them out at the ASAP Network. Me, Big Shot Sports on Facebook. The Big Shot Sports Report. That's also on Facebook, YouTube. Like and subscribe. Big Shot Sports. Y'all know what's going on. Y'all know where it's at. I tell people all the time, go check it out. But it's up to you if y'all go check it out. I don't force nobody. I don't force no will on nobody. But that's it for right now. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll let y'all know the time. We'll be right here at the same spot, same place. Thanks for listening to the Big Shot Sports podcast with Kelton Jones. Don't forget, he'll be back with me tomorrow. Y'all have a great night.